the Suns the advantage in 3 of the 5 starting positions, along with the bench and coach. And Fox Bet Sportsbook also has Phoenix as the favorites for tonight's series opener. So, Shannon, who you got? Who wins game 1?
Skip, everything is really predicated. I won't overcomplicate this. Everything is really predicated for the Suns with their backcourt. Devin Booker shoots better than 42%. They're undefeated in the postseason. Chris Paul has a positive plus-minus in the postseason. They're undefeated in the postseason. So everything is really predicated on that. Yes, DeAndre Ayton can do really well in the pick and roll. Both teams are very, the difference is the Bucks are pick and roll and they can pick and pop because Brook Lopez, he does have range. Ayton is really, he can pick and pop, but he prefers to dive to the basket, flush it home on you. So really everything, when you really look at this, now that Giannis is out, this is really going to be a backcourt series. It's Middleton, Holiday versus Booker and CP3. Who are you willing to put your money on? Who's shown you throughout the playoffs they've been more consistent? I'm taking the Suns in that matchup. Now, I heard what Jenny said that the sport book said the bench and they get their favorite in 3 of the 5 positions. I get all that. But my eye test tells me is that the Suns have played a little bit better, a little bit more consistent than the Bucks. Now, that's not to say the Bucks don't have a chance to win this ball game, because I do believe they can win this ball game. But they're going to need for Middleton to play a lot better. Skip, if you go back and look at his first 2 games in both series, go back against the Nets, go back against looking at Atlanta. He did not play well, and they got blown. We really, a lot of people thought the series was over when they played the Nets because of how bad they got beaten and how poorly Middleton played. Fast forward, Atlanta, the exact same thing, and then he turns it on. He's extremely streaky. And the one thing we know about streaky players in the NBA, if they get it going, it does not matter. See, it used to be the great players were the only ones that could get streaky hot. But we saw Terrence Mann get hot, Skip, and go get 39. We saw Middleton go get 23 and a quarter, 20 and a quarter. So, but for me, I'm basing everything on the backcourt. If Chris Paul and Devin Booker plays well, they're going to win this. Take advantage of Ayton, Skip. He's a gazelle. Let him get out on the break. We know Chris Paul wants to control the pace. He's not really looking to get up and down. But I believe he's going to pick and choose his spots and where he can take advantage of Ayton's foot speed, getting up and down the court faster than Brook Lopez. Lopez is going to really have to stay out of foul trouble, Skip, because Portis, as big as he is, he can't do anything with Ayton. So it's going to be incumbent upon him to stay out of foul trouble. I'm also looking to see the matchup, Monty Williams. How do you play Portis? Because really, Bridges and Crowder, they're a little smallish side. You might have to go Saric. You might see a little bit more Saric going up against Portis than what we're normally used to seeing it. But everything for me is predicated on the backcourt. And with that being said, I'm going to take the Suns. I'm going to take the Suns to even cover tonight.
You are.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got Suns big by more than 6.
I got Suns by 9.
Okay, got it. So, throughout my career, I've relied on my instinct, and it's usually paid off. And my instinct is screaming at me right now that the Milwaukee Bucks have a great opportunity to steal a game tonight at Phoenix. Obviously, almost certainly, there'll be no Giannis. I'm going to say certainly there's going to be no Giannis. But I don't know that for sure because they are being very circumspect, almost sneakily so, because it's just the way we saw the Clippers do to the Suns with Kawhi. They just kept saying day to day, day to day, we don't know, we don't know. Well, I told you, I heard it from a very good source, he needs surgery and he's out. But they kept saying, well, we're not sure, we're not sure. And it could be that Giannis is already been declared internally out for the whole series. I don't know. But the point is, it sounded like yesterday, even though he did some very minor court work, they called it court work on the side, I think. I don't think he's going to play tonight.
Well, he on the side. Even if he does play, what's he going to give you?
I don't know. So it's just hard to know about the knee because they're not even saying sprained or bruised or any. We have no idea what is going on inside a hyperextended knee. So because there's no Giannis, this is the classic case of what if Phoenix, having already been coronated, because most people are picking Phoenix. In fact, I don't know anybody who's picking Milwaukee. Maybe I missed somebody somewhere. Maybe one of the media people in Milwaukee are picking Milwaukee. But this is the great opportunity to steal a game and make it an uphill battle for the Suns the rest of the series.
Oh, yeah.
Because clearly, Milwaukee just won 2 pretty big games without Giannis.
Right.
And obviously, Trey was also limited and out the one game, but limited in Game 6. So it's hard to quantify just how impressive the Bucks really were against the Hawks. But I thought they were very impressive. I liked the way the ball moved without Giannis because they became a 5-man offense instead of a 1-man show in the last couple of games. And I think that could serve them well tonight because they're playing with high confidence and high momentum coming right out of Game 6, take a day off and go right into game number 1 at Phoenix. And I love the fact that Middleton had the explosive quarters, the 20 in the fourth quarter and the 23 in the third quarter at Atlanta, which has not been his MO. He's always been all-star at home and disaster on the road. And all of a sudden, he had 2 breakout, at least quarters, at Atlanta, which could serve him well at Phoenix.
Well, also what serves him well, what happened in the past 2 series? They lost the opening game. And they mentally tough. They think about it. You lost the opening game in your home building.
You did.
When you had home court against the Hawks.
They did.
So, and you got blown out both games. You got blown out on the road by the Nets. So they're not going to be, Skip, even if they lose this game. It's not like, well, they were supposed to. They're home. They're not going to be deterred by that.
So now I'm to what has vexed and hexed me my whole career. And I have termed it self-defeating prophecy. By that, I mean, if I think somebody's going to sneak up on somebody else, if I voice it publicly, trust me on this. You know this. These players watch this show. Right now, they just might be hanging on my every word. That could include Chris Paul. That could be Devin Booker. And they do have some dog in both of them. And it could include an emerging DeAndre Ayton who's got some fire in him. And if all 3 happen to be watching me right now pick Milwaukee, they are liable, all 3, to sit back in their chair and say, oh, yeah? Well, bleep you, Skip Bayless, watch this. And that's what I call self-defeating prophecy. And I reflect back to a couple of games earlier in my career in Dallas. Big Redskin rivalry games. I got to use the old nickname because it was Cowboys-Redskins. It was the best rivalry in sports, 82-83. This is a little before your time, but you'll probably remember. On opening night at Old Texas Stadium, on Monday Night Football, Joe Theismann came in, and I just thought that the Redskins were rolling, and they ended up rolling all the way to the Super Bowl, if you remember, in 82. But on opening night, I thought...
That was strike year, too, wasn't it?
I believe it was the strike year. I hope I'm not confusing 82 and
87.
Yeah, 87.
87 was strike year also.
But the point was that I picked the Redskins at that point, Washington football team, obviously, to upset the Cowboys. Well, it's in the paper that morning, and they have all day to read it. And so the Cowboys read it, and they, good Lord, if you remember this game, they intercepted Joe Theismann 5 times and sang happy birthday to him. The whole crowd sang happy birthday because it was his birthday in early September. And the Cowboy defensive backs got in a big huddle in the postgame locker room and chanted my name because they all credited me with inspiring them to win the game.
You know how this works. You know if you write for the team, you can't pick against them because they actually think you're a part of the team.
Well, then the very next year, later in the year, it was December 11th, Washington came to Dallas, and it was a huge game featuring Joe Theismann and John Riggins for all the marbles. And I picked the home team to roll 31-10. And guess what the score was? 31-10 the other way. And the Redskins all credited me in the postgame locker room with inspiring them to win the game. So my point on this is, yeah, I do have this gut feeling that somehow, some way, that Milwaukee's just good enough to go win this game tonight because it's hard on Chris Paul because he got coronated. It's like, oh, Chris broke through, and everybody's so happy for him. It's like they have already been crowned as the champion, and they should win this.
I think that's what it is, Skip. I don't know. I think everybody's picking the Suns because they want this for Chris Paul so bad.
I got it.
It's not to say Milwaukee isn't likable because they have likable players, but I just think Chris Paul is just, he's just the average. He's an average-sized man playing a large man's game.
I totally agree, and I will be very happy for him if he does break all the way through and wins this ring because his career deserves that conclusion to it. If in fact this is the for all I know, they're going to be good enough to do it again next year. But right now he broke through, and I told you, Lil Wayne was telling me the other day, he's so happy. He's just found his bliss in the NBA Finals. And Wayne's point was, even if they lose, Chris is going to be okay. Well, yeah, we get that. We talked about it yesterday. But no, he needs to finish this off. And you know, and I know Chris wants in his heart of hearts, he wants this ring because you can't get this close and not close this deal.
Yeah, there's no guarantee you're going to be back.
No.
There's no guarantee because you got a lot of breaks. A lot of things have to go well for you to win a championship.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if